Hey guys, it's your favorite book reading Ginger, and welcome to my book club. So, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know all about what I've been posting, all those pictures with mystery books in my hand. And I did mention something about a book giveaway. So, and I also have a cat in my lap, so if you hear any meowing, it's coming from Miss Alice, who has decided to join us tonight. So, but the book I'm giving away is also the next one we're reading, so I'm very excited to present to you A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I found this at Books A Million and kept looking at it and putting it down and looking at it and putting it down, and finally I was like, just buy the book, just buy it. So I did, and now that I've bought it, I've seen stuff about it everywhere. It's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I'm very excited. It is about a girl named Harper and a prince who is cursed to repeat the autumn of his 18th year. So, and I think you have to fall in love to break the curse. So, I think it's going to be good. I've heard a lot of good things about it so far. Not a lot of stuff about it, but pretty good stuff. What I have heard has been good. So I'm excited. So I did say you could win this lovely book. This is the book that I've been holding in all those pictures. So you can win this book by commenting below. Just whatever you want to comment. You want to tell me your favorite book quote. You want to tell me how your day is going. If you just want to say hi, all you gotta do is comment below. It'll enter you to win. You can get up to 3 entries. So you comment once, you get 1. You comment twice, you get 2. Comment 3, you get 3 entries. You comment 5 times, you still get 3 entries, but I appreciate it. But so comment below so we can win this book. Our next live stream is going to be Thursday, January 30th, I believe is correct. Of course, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know. So I will announce winners then, and you will still have time to read this book and get caught up before we actually do it, because we have to. Tonight will be the first half of A Court of Rings and Ruin. Next Thursday will be the second half, and then we'll read the novella. So you'll have plenty of time to get caught up on this and get into this before we talk about it. So I hope you will comment, and if you have this book and you're excited to read it, tell a friend. If you want a friend to join you, they can win a free book. So keep commenting so you can get this book. It's gonna be good, I think, and I'm excited. So that's that. We're gonna jump right into A Court of Wings and Ruin. It's the last book in the trilogy of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and then she has a smaller novella that came out after the third one that kind of talks, I guess, about, I'm assuming, about their life after this one, I guess. So we'll read that too and see what all that's about. So this is chapters 1 through 41, and we're going to jump into it. So we are at Spring Court. If you remember the last book, Farah, broke her and Rysand's bargain bond, and she's a spy in the Spring Court for the Night Court, I guess, so to speak. And she's there with Tamlin, and she is doing some amazing acting at the beginning of this book. She's like, the painting is a lie. So, but she's playing the part that Tamlin has always wanted her to play. She's letting Alice put her in these pretty dresses, letting her fix her hair up. She's doing these little paintings of spring, and she's trying to portray this person that's healing, but she's happy to be back home. So I mean, she is putting it on thick every time at the Spring Court. So while we're there, Spring Court has allied with Hybern, the bad guys. So that's going on. So Jurian shows up along with the princess and prince, I guess, of Hybern. They're the king of Hybern's nieces and nephews, and they're like Rysand. They can break into your mind and all that. They can see into your mind if it's not shielded. So They're not good news at all. And then Ianthe shows back up. Why? I don't know. She wants to. Well, she claims that she wants to apologize for Feyre for the whole thing with her sisters because she gave up their names, and that's how they got turned into Fae. And they're at the night court, and she's at the spring court, and it's all just like crazy. So, so a few things. We get to see some things happening at Spring Court as her plan unfolds. One of those is summer solstice, and I absolutely just love this because to me it was hilarious. I think she's like she's a priestess, so she's presiding over the summer solstice, and she's gonna give this big speech, and she's got one of her little helpers to put like this marker, so when the sun rises, she will be like blessed by the sun. It's going to come behind her, and she's going to look like all urethral or whatever. She's going to look like awesome, I guess. Well, Fairy moves it a little over, so the sun actually hits Feyre, and they're all like, oh, Feyre Cursebaker is also cauldron blessed, like the sun shines on her. Of course, Feyre's just like, oh, I didn't know, oh, it chose me. Her acting is. She's putting it on thick while she's here. And so, all that's going on. So, they are going out, her and Lucian and the twins, the prince and princess, or the twins, to survey the wall. They're just checking it out. They find these 3 children. They find a hole in the wall, and there's 3 children of the blessed on the other side, and they're wanting to come over. They're wanting to live in the fairy realms. If you remember, the children of the blessed were back from the first book. They were fairy worshippers. They wanted to live on the other side of the wall. So they're there, and Feyre's like, no, only death awaits you here. Turn around, go back. And she kind of breaks into their minds and makes them see some of the horrible images that she's seen while she's there. And they leave. They're like, oh, we're sorry, we're mistaken. And they leave. Well, the twins go back out that night and hunt them down and kill them. And leave their bodies for Feyre and Lucian to find. So, Feyre got, in my opinion, the best revenge. We're back in the scene. We're back in Tamlin's study. And Lucian is there and Feyre is there. And he's ticked. Because Feyre sent the Vogue after the twins. They lived, so what was the harm? She did send the Vogue after them. If you remember that from the first book, that's that thing they couldn't look at or it would kill them. But somehow she managed to send one their way and go after them. But they lived. They were fine. They were a little shooken up, but they all right. He's mad. Lucian walks out, and Feyre continues to rile him up to the point where he does that explosion thing again that he's done in the previous book. Where glass and furniture is just flying everywhere. And in the first time that happened, she shielded herself, not meaning to. That was when she was still trying to learn how to control her powers. This time she purposely left herself unshielded. So she hit, and she was had all these scratches all over, and there's blood and all this. And Tamlin was devastated. He was he's I'm so sorry. And I think Lucian actually walks in and gets her out, takes her out of the room. And he was devastated. I kind of felt kind of bad for Tamlin at this point, but not extremely bad because this is the second time you've done this to her. This is the second time you've blown up with her in the room. You need to control that. And we find out that Tamlin's pretty territorial when it comes to Feyre, overprotected. He went crazy while she was gone. Her old room at the Spring Court Manor is covered in vines and stuff. You can't even go in there. She just went he just went crazy. And he's very scary overprotected. This is not a healthy relationship. Even though when we were reading book 1 we thought it was, but looking back, it's not. So that happens. And he was mad, and she riled him up, and he exploded, and she was all scratched up, and he was pretty devastated. So we go back out to survey the wall. Ianthe goes with us this last time, and this is the time that Feyre they're going to survey the wall, but Farrah doesn't plan to come back to the Supreme Manor. She plans to escape. This is her her chance. She's going, and she plans to run off and escape. So they're walking. She's making her escape. She's going through the woods, and she hears Ianthe, and she turns, and she's got Lucian shackled to a tree. She's trying to come on to him, but he's shackled to the tree. His arms are behind him. He's shackled to the tree, and these shackles immobilize him from using his power, so that's why he can't escape. And she's coming on to him, and it kind of reminds her of the part where Rysand let her in his mind to see the time that she came onto him, she was on his bed, naked, and was yeah, and he was no. And she got mad, so she breaks into her mind, and it kind of surprised me, the priestess, her being a priestess, she didn't have her mind shielded, she didn't have those shields, but she didn't. And anyway, she broke into her mind, and she made her unshackle Lucian. And then the next thing she made her do, I thought was pretty. I thought it was pretty great. It was pretty. Damn, Farrah. Wow, that was pretty. She deserved it, but I don't know. She makes her take a rock and smash her hand in to the point where her hand is crippled. Yes, she does. And so I was oh wow, it was pretty intense. I didn't expect Farrah to go that far, but she got her to just smash it, and she was you won't ever touch anybody again without their permission. And I was oh dang. Well, while this is going on, she gets caught by the twins. And earlier in the book, Farrah complains about these headaches, and we find out the twins have been poisoning their food with Fabane, which is it diminishes their powers. So they can't fight it, but they do fight against them. Lucian ends up beheading the twin, and then Farrah takes out or beheads the princess, and Farrah takes out the prince. So they're dead, So they take them out, and they're still trying to make their escape, and Lucian's going to go with her to the night court. So they get into the autumn court, and they're hiding in this cave, and they get found. His brothers find them, and she has just enough power to put a shield of flame at them, and they run off and take off, and they make it all the way to Winter Court. Well, they're running across this frozen pond, because they talk about being on the ice, and all of a sudden I was oh, this is not good. This is not good. You're on ice, it's gonna break, something bad gonna happen. Well, something bad does happen. Lucian's 3 brothers follow them there, so they're on the ice. They have flame, it's one of their main powers, so they're unthawing it. And Farrah is freaking out because she doesn't want them to know that she has the powers, but at the same time she's if I don't freeze back this ice, we did. So she's freezing back the ice as they unthaw it, because at this point they do have their powers back. The Fabane has worn off. Aerys, the eldest brother, that's the one that's in line for the throne, he winnows in front of Farrah and just punches her in the face. So I was and then it's Farrah and Aerys, and Lucian's got the other 2 brothers, and they're all fighting, and they're on this ice, and I'm just it's can't end well. All of a sudden, bam, Cassian pops in, and Azriel, of course, pops in right behind him. Cassian helps Farrah take on Aerys, while Azriel helps Lucian take on the other 2 brothers. And finally, they kind of come to a standstill, and of course, they winnow out. I'm yeah. So we're back at the night court. Of course, she sees Moore's one of the first people she sees. Rysand was in business, but he of course was on his way to see his wife, and of course, they have their meeting, their back togetherness. They have their time. And we finally get to see Nesta and Elaine. So at this point, we haven't seen them since they came out of the cauldron. So it was very interesting to see them. Nesta is still a viper. She just seems mad that she's Fae, honestly. She just spends most of her time in the library reading. Cassian even offered to train her, and she refused. So she's Nesta, and she's very protective over Elaine. Elaine not taken to the Fae life so well. Feyre describes her as very void of the kindness that was there before. I feel very bad because Lucian was very excited to meet her, and then, she's just not herself. She's not Elaine that, that we've been through all these books. She's very thin and pale, and she's just talking about her wedding, and she wants to go home because she was supposed to get married. Remember, she was engaged to a man that hated the Fae. She still wears like her iron wedding band or engagement, not wedding, they didn't get married, engagement ring. And I feel so bad for her. She just wants to go home, and she can't, and she's like, I was supposed to get married, and she's just not Elaine. And it's just very sad to see her so down and so depressed. And she speaks in all these weird, she talks about firebirds and black ravens and all kinds of stuff. So it's very, very strange. And I feel very bad for her. So Feyre kind of gets back into routine. They've hatched this plan where they're going to meet with all the High Lords and, figure out who are their allies in this war. Because this affects all of them, whether they know it or not. It affects all of the High Lords, all of their courts, like this does, because the King of Hybern wants to take over, the whole land. So this does affect them. So they're trying to get their game plan together, figure out what they're doing, and they send out a note to every High Lord, to come to this meeting, and they've got to figure out a place for this meeting. And so while this is going on, Feyre's kind of get back into training, and she wants to learn to fly, which I get really excited because I was hoping she would want to learn to fly. I was hoping we get to see her use those wings in action, and I didn't realize those wings were such a big deal. They're born with them. I just didn't realize I guess because they're born with them, they don't really realize it either. Because she talks about Azrael actually is the one that offers to teach her how to fly, because if you remember, he was locked in his father's dungeon, so he didn't learn to fly. He learned to fly when he was older. Where Ryson and Cassian were doing it the moment they were born. They were young, so they probably don't really remember. So he offers to teach her, and she talks about how heavy, after she forms them, how heavy they are, and how they use every muscle to lift them off the ground. Her first lesson was literally learning to lift them up and spread them out and tuck them back in, because they're so heavy. And she talks about how it uses every muscle to lift them up. And then in a later lesson, she flies into a tree and hits the tree, and she's like, that tree just came out of nowhere. And Azrael was like, no, I'm pretty sure that tree's been there for 500 years. And that was fun because we got to see kind of this playful side to him that we don't really get to see because he's always so quiet. He's the shadow singer, and he's always so quiet. So we got that to see the little bit of a playful side to him, which was fun. And I liked it, and it was really funny when she hit the tree. I was like, oh my goodness. So while this is going on, also the Summer Court gets attacked by Hybern. Despite the blood rubies, Varian, is that his name? Mourns Amarin. So anyway, they suit up, they go help. Tarquin, I was a little disappointed because he didn't seem very they helped you save your city, and he doesn't seem very thankful for it. He's like, while you're here, would you like to steal something else? Just very snarky and stuff. And I was like, they did come and help you. I liked you. Don't be this way. So, but despite the blood rubies, he did let them leave. And so I was kind of hurt. I wanted them to be friends, and it's not happening. Also, Hybern is coming at him from all angles. They also attack Nesta and Feyre while they're in the library. They've been in the library searching for information on how to, they need the cauldron to take down this wall, and they're wondering if Nesta somehow being attached to the cauldron can help them with trying to figure out where the weak spots are in the wall to strengthen it. they get attacked. They want her because apparently she took something from the cauldron and the king wants it back. And so we find out what this creature is that lives in the library. They go down, 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 and that's Feyre's plan. Like, she leads her down. She leads the soldiers down. And she asks, she's like, what do you want to help us? And he was like, I want company. I want to hear about life. Which is very strange. Like, for something to be that, like, makes Cassian go pale, we don't know exactly what this is. And he tells her to close her eyes. So I'm thinking he's pretty gruesome. And then, like, he kills the soldiers. So I'm thinking he's pretty gruesome. But it gives Feyre the thought of inviting monsters, so to speak, to help them win the war. So she goes to the Bone Carver. We find out the Bone Carver is actually the Weaver, their brother and sister, the Bone Carver and the Weaver. Go figure. Like, where they came from, they were death gods before they were sent to this realm and trapped in these bodies. So, but they want them to fight, and he says he wants this mirror, and anybody that's looked at this mirror either goes mad or broken beyond repair. So, that's pretty intense. So she's thinking it's, Farrah's like, pick something else. And he's like, nope, that's what I want. And she's like, well, you know what, never mind. You can stay down here, rot. And then Rhysand kind of figures out that he knows the Bone Carver because from earlier, their first visit to the prison, Rhysand asked her, who did the Bone Carver appear to you? And she said, a boy. And in this book, he said, not just any boy. And she was like, no, because we find out the boy that the Bone Carver is appearing to Feyre as is actually her and Rhysand's future son. So I was like, oh my goodness, they're gonna have a baby. If they live through this war, if they don't live, I will be in tears because that would break my heart. So that would be bad if they both if they die. If either one of them dies, I'm gonna be knocking on Sarah J. Maas's door like, no, this is not how this can end. No, they have to live. So they go down there and they see him, and he wants this mirror, and they're like, no, find something else besides this mirror. And he's like, no, but one mirror. So anyway, they're like, you can stay down there. So, but it was, if you think about it, it's not a bad deal. I mean, they are pretty powerful, the things like the Bone Carver and the Weaver. Like, why not try to recruit them to fight to fight with them? Like, why not? Like, I feel like it would be crazy not to. I mean, Hybern's already, they attacked Valeris back in the second book. Well, then they come back and attack the library. And then they also attack the Summer Court. Like, they're coming in strong. Why not? So, I don't blame them for wanting their help. So towards the end of the book, or the end of this chapters, we find out that we have a meeting place for the High Lord meeting. They're going to meet at the Dawn Court, and they're getting ready to leave. And Nesta, they'd asked Nesta to come to, like, tell her testament. She's like, no, I won't come. So at the end of the last chapter that we read, like, Nesta's like, hey, I'll go. I'm coming with you. So that was big, and I was excited. So that's, like, pretty much it. So I'm really excited. I think, this first half of the book was good and fast paced, and it kind of slowed down, but I know it's because we're getting ready for something big. I'm excited to see this High Lord meeting. I think when they talk about it in the book, like, Tamlin didn't say if he was going to show up or not, so I'm curious to see if Tamlin will show up. I'm also excited to see the Dawn Court, and we get to see, like, all the High Lords, I'm sure, so we get to maybe meet some of them that we haven't met yet. So that's exciting for me, because I like that, the courts and the High Lords. So that's something. Farah will be showing them that she is the High Lady of the Night Court. None of the other courts have High Ladies, so that's cool. I'm excited. Also nervous because I don't know how everybody else is going to take the fact that she is High Lady. I'm trying to think. I just know there's going to be a big war. I hope that they have allies. I hope that the other High Lords, know this is important and they do decide to ally with them. And I think that's all I have for my thoughts on what's to come. I know it's going to be good. But I'm also nervous because if there's a war, there could be death, and I'm just not prepared for certain characters to leave us. Like, some of them, I'm like, oh, you can have them. But there's some you just don't touch them, Sarah. You let them live. I need things. So I would love like Cassian and Nesta to get together. I would love that. And Elaine. Oh my goodness. Oh, Elaine is a seer. I forgot about that part. We find out that Elaine is a seer, and that's why she talks like about the Firebird, which is actually one of the queens. And Lucian sets off to find that queen. She's like a Firebird by day and a woman by night, or vice versa. Very Swan Princessy. And the Black Ravens was something, or the Ravens was when Hybern attacked the library. I forgot about that. Yeah, she is a seer. And it's really weird because after we find out she's a seer, she's like miraculously healed. Like, she starts like becoming, like, she's better. We figured out the problem and now she's fixed. I don't know, it's kind of strange. But yeah, I forgot about that. She's a seer. So they had that on their side. So I don't know how her visions work. If she just like gets them and just starts talking, or if she can summon them, or if she can like, sit there and like close her eyes and bring forth these visions. I'm curious to see how they work, and how that's going to play out, like, to help them in the war against Hybern. Okay, that for real is everything. I did forget that though. So, like I said, if you want this book, if you want to read this book, I need you to comment below, and yeah, it's going to be good, I hope. So if you comment below, like I said, you can get up to 3 entries. And next week I will like go through and see what we got. Next live stream I will announce the winner. And you don't have to do it during this live stream. If you comment later, or if you are watching this and it's after the live stream has already passed, feel free to comment. It'll still count till Wednesday, December, or not, we are not in December, I am so sorry. Wednesday, January 29th. Sorry, I had to think of the date. It's like, yeah, the 29th. And then live stream will be Thursday, January 30th. So that's that. I am the Book Reading Ginger. I make these videos, these live streams on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you want to know when I'll go live again, you get that little bell, and that will let you know when I go live again. If you have Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at the Book Reading Ginger. I would love it. I posted all the updates there. Information about this was there, so it's a good way to, I don't know, just, it's a good way to see what's going on. And I think that's all I have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Bye-bye.